Oh, hold on, this is my favorite part. Okay, let's get out of here. Hello, and welcome to the Reach for the Stars program. My name is Samantha, and I will be your guide throughout this informational video today. I know what you're thinking. Oh no, not another informational video. Well, I completely understand, and that's why we're going to make this as fun as possible as we can, while at the same time providing you information to run a proper and well-managed class just like Mr. Ray. At the same time, we're also going to provide you with the expectations that as an employee of the Reach for the Stars program, you're going to need. Before we begin, I not only want to give you a brief history of the program, but I also want to share our mission and vision, not just for the students, but for every single one of you watching this video. Reach for the Stars first opened its doors in Whittier City School District in March of 1999. It all started with a Los Angeles County Office of Education grant that allowed us to serve 200 students at 4 of our elementary school sites. Now, with the help of the federal 21st Century Community Learning Centers, state after-school education and safety grants, and local funding, we are serving approximately 1,500 students at 9 elementary and 2 middle schools every day. Reach for the Stars has many great benefits and responsibilities for not only the students, but the families of Whittier as well. Our program is in collaboration with important key community partners, like the YMCA of Greater Whittier, the Boys and Girls Club of Whittier, the City of Whittier, RMH Dance and Sports Studio, Helpline Youth Counseling, and many others, all which help us meet the needs of the parents and students in our community. The Reach for the Stars program vision is to produce responsible citizens who have the 21st century skills that they will need to become successful in college, career, and life. We not only keep students safe during the most dangerous hours after school, but also provide academic enrichment opportunities more than most families could afford otherwise. We are all here to provide the highest quality program to the community of Whittier and to give its students and their families the best possible experience before school, during school, after school, and even during the summer. So, let me be the first to welcome you to the Reach for the Stars family. Rules are something that we all need to abide by. Otherwise, chaos would reign. Since we don't want that, here are some of the rules that you're expected to follow to give our students a safe learning environment. All employees are expected to and must wear their uniforms to school every day. There are a few occasions, such as School Spirit Day, where we encourage you to wear your school spirit colors and show your school spirit. But other than that, you must look professional and modest. This means, number 1, shorts and skirts cannot be any more than 6 inches above the knee, even you tall people. Number 2, all clothes must be neat, clean, and free of holes and patches. I know it's a style to wear worn-out clothes, but please, wear that on your own time. Number 3, closed-toe shoes at all times. No sandals or flip-flops. You could get hurt by getting stepped on or bumping into something. Number 4, piercings in ears only. The only piercings that are allowed are on the earlobes or a small stud on the nose. Tattoos. Don't care if you have them, but they must be completely covered at all times. Number 5, no improper clothing depicting drug, alcohol, or gang life. This means no baggy pants, no long shirts, and no shirts with inappropriate pictures. Number 6, no visible underwear. Staff should be able to tie a shoe, raise their hands over their heads, or bend over without showing any part of your underwear. Ladies, underwear means you wear bra straps under your shirt and that they are not visible at any time. Number 7, no crazy hair. If you arrive at work with a ridiculous hairstyle, you will be asked to go home and change it. Number 8, last and most important, and most obvious, zero tolerance for drugs, alcohol, and tobacco while working. If you're found to be under the influence of any of these, you will be asked to leave the campus and you will be terminated immediately. You must remember, we are the role models for the students and we must look the part. We can't come in looking like this. More like this. That's more like it. Now that you know how to dress the part, let's learn how to act the part. I know that many of you are coming in here without any prior knowledge or experience and might be a little scared or even a little nervous. That's why I'm here to guide you and show you the proper steps. That's the main reason why this video is created after all. And remember, if you need it, the whole Reach for the Stars family is here to support you. Every month there will be a mandatory meeting that you'll attend, where you'll get the latest information and updates about what's going on with Reach for the Stars. You'll also have a site meeting at your school. The first type will be the big meeting, which is scheduled by the main office. And it is held every month. You will be given a big meeting schedule for the entire school year. This will help you know when these meetings are held. This is an opportunity for all Reach for the Stars staff to meet and discuss program-wide information. The second meeting is the site meeting. The site meeting is arranged by your site facilitator for your site team only, and it will be held once a month. At this meeting, your team will discuss site issues only. If you're going to miss the big meeting, please notify the office no later than 10 a.m. the day of. If you're going to miss the site meeting, let your site facilitator know in advance. If you're going to miss any of the trainings or meetings without any notice, you will receive a written reprimand. It's important to stay in the loop. So don't forget, okay? Lesson planning is key to a successful and productive day with your students. It really helps you teach your 20+ students every day. A little planning goes a long way. You will be given time every 6 weeks to write lesson plans. Lesson planning is usually on a Saturday and due the following Monday to the instructional specialist. Ugh, I know, Saturdays, right? But guess what? You'll still get paid for that time. Unless, of course, you miss them, and then in that case, you know what to do, right? That's right, call them. Now, of course, you're still responsible for turning in the lesson plans the following Monday, and you don't get paid for that time. Not so fun. So, let's make sure we don't miss those lesson plan days. Listen carefully. If you're gonna be late, or if you're not gonna be able to make it to your shift, you need to call Teresa Salas, the program secretary at the office. You need to speak to a live person. No texting, no voicemails. It doesn't excuse you. That way we can call a substitute for your class. This right here, guys. At the end of every school year, you will be evaluated on your performance. You will be evaluated on not only the quality of your supervision, but also attendance, punctuality, emergency procedures, dress, language, and behavior. So, make sure to follow along with this video because everything that you will be evaluated on is going to be shown here. Now, the question most of you are probably asking yourselves is, how are we going to get paid? Well, to discuss that further, one of these lovely people up here are going to answer that. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. What are you waiting for? Go ahead. Oh, hey guys, you're back already? 1 second. Okay, so what were we going to talk about? Oh, that's right, electronics. Electronics can be pretty distracting during program time. So can your computers, your iPods, your tablets, all of the above. So I know that we can't live without our phones, but I'm actually here to tell you that we can. And I know we live in the digital age and everyone is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter liking and sharing posts, but just hold off on it for a couple hours, guys. If you absolutely need to use your cell phone for work or emergency purposes, just make sure to ask your site facilitator. And remember, tweeting is not an emergency. Facebook is. Nope. Roger. Copy that. Okay, over and out. Walkie-talkies. Okay, guys, if you're going to be using these for communication purposes, make sure it's brief and professional. And when you're discussing a child's behavior, make sure you know the difference between the right and the wrong way.
Can I read your book?
No.
Can I read it?
Why stop?
Can I read it?
Did it?
Audrey, I already told you a bunch of times to stop talking and stop bothering Sebastian, okay? Miss Peggy, yes. Audrey keeps acting up, so I need to send her to you.
That's the wrong way. Let's see the right way to handle this situation. If there's a situation with a particular student, make sure to keep your conversation with the student at a low level. Use your walkie-talkies correctly. You don't want students to feel embarrassed or belittled if you speak loudly about them in front of others. Remember to let the students know that this is not personal. It's just a timeout to reflect on their behavior. Let them know that you will be happy to have them back as soon as they are ready to demonstrate appropriate behavior. And don't forget to bring them back at the end of their timeout. The general rule is 1 minute for every year of age for a first timeout. Double that time for a second timeout. So remember, if you have to use electronics either for an emergency or activity purposes, make sure you talk to your site manager before using them. And please be discreet about what you say over the walkie-talkies. Other than that, electronics are off during program hours for both you and the students. Does anyone even own a pager anymore? We expect all employees in the program to treat all individuals in the program with respect at all times. That means no slang, sarcasm, vulgar language, profanities, no put-downs or physical disciplines allowed. And be aware of your body language and tone when you're talking to students, parents, and other staff members, even if you know them outside of work. The wrong body language or tone can send off the wrong message. Guys, we're role models. Behave like them. When speaking to any individual, make sure to follow these 4 steps to ensure a positive social interaction. Number 1, pleasant smile. Number 2, gentle approach. Number 3, friendly greetings. Number 4, maintain professionalism. When you first meet someone, make sure to give him or her a friendly smile. Approach them gently. Do not act or speak in an aggressive or threatening way. And engage them in friendly conversation and give them any information they need to know about their child. And most importantly, always behave professionally, even if they are not. At the end of the year, you will be evaluated on the level of participation you demonstrated in the class with your students. That means we expect you to keep the students active, engaged, and learning at all times. All employees are expected to be active participants, meaning we don't want any babysitters. You must be within 10 to 15 feet from all of your students at all times. You have all students in your line of sight at all times. You know exactly where every student is, including those that go to the bathroom. Now, here's an example of how to do it the right way and the not so right way. As you can clearly see, the staff member is in their own world, not paying attention to the students, and the students are doing things they're not supposed to. By being on his phone, being far away, and not engaging, he is not supervising. He is what we call the babysitter. Now let's take a look at what an active participator looks like and the proper way to supervise your class. The staff is actively engaged with students in an activity while still having their eyes on the students around them. The kids are having fun, and the staff is demonstrating good supervision, making sure nothing is going wrong. When you are out with your class, you must make sure you have both eyes on your students at all times. No playing on the outside playground, jungle gym, swings, or monkey bars. Too many students were getting injured on this equipment. Make sure to keep them off. But that doesn't mean you can't get on them. Yay! What? Oh, I guess you can't get on them. Don't get on them. Okay, so what are you supposed to do when a student asks to go to the bathroom? You can't keep an eye on them all the time, can you? Here are a few helpful tips to help you out with that. What to do when a student asks you to use the restroom. The rules vary from grade to grade. For kindergarten through second graders, they must at all times be sent with a buddy. You choose the buddy so that they won't go with a friend and begin to play around. The preferred system is to take your whole class during transitions. This way, they are not interrupting your lesson. For 3rd through 8th graders, you must send them alone. Older students tend to be a little more likely to play in the restrooms when sent with other students. Communicate with your coworkers to make sure they haven't sent someone else from another classroom at the same time. If there are 3 or 4 upper graders in the restroom at the same time, there may be problems. I call this a party in the restroom. So, make sure to send them alone and give them a time limit. Send a responsible student to retrieve students who haven't come back in a few minutes. If it's dark outside, make sure to send an adult with the students to keep them safe. Or, once again, plan a time where as a class, you all go to the restroom together. Which brings us to behavior management. Now, I know that most of us aren't used to correcting other people's behaviors, especially children's behavior, and I also know that most of us don't want to seem like the bad cop by bringing the law down on the students. But in order to get your students to listen to you as well as respect you, you have to be firm and fair. This is the only way you're going to get your classroom to be productive and effective, and this is a huge part of doing the job well. And that's why we use the color behavioral chart. Color behavior chart. All students start with a green card. Colors should not change unless a student causes a major disruption. First offense, verbal warning or redirection. Second offense, change card to yellow and earn a classroom timeout for 5 minutes. Third offense, change card to orange with a 10-minute timeout in another classroom. The site facilitator will address this with parents during sign-out. Fourth offense, change card to red, call site facilitator to inform them, and they will decide whether to give them a strike or to call the parents. Reach for the Stars uses a color behavior chart for the elementary school sites and a reinforcement system for the middle school. Here's the correct way to use the behavior chart and the reinforcement system. Every day, the students are given a fresh start, which means that their color on the color chart is at green. Now, if a child begins to misbehave or do something wrong, in that case, they will be given a verbal warning to stop.
Eric, can you please put those cards away? Okay, thank you.
If the verbal warning does not work and the student continues their behavior, the next step is for them to pull the yellow card.
Eric, I already gave you a warning. I asked you to put the Pokemon cards and now you're bothering Geraldine. Please come change your card to yellow.
Which means they will be given a timeout in accordance to their age. So if they are 8 years old, they would be in classroom timeout for 8 minutes. Now, if that student continues to mess around and is not paying attention or is distracting other students, then it's time for them to pull the orange card.
Eric, please stop throwing papers. I just had you change your card a second ago and now I need you to come change it to orange.
They'll also serve 20 minutes timeout in another classroom, and a letter will be given to their parents to sign at the time of sign out. Now that he has returned, he should be calmer and ready to pay attention. But there's always an exception. Sometimes you get that student that is just not cooperating and is continuing to misbehave, and really there's nothing you can do. So it's time for him to pull the red card. This will be the fourth and last offense of the day. What you must do is contact the site facilitator and explain to them what has been happening. They then will decide what to do with the student from there.
Times, okay, this is getting out of hand. You're not following directions and you're not trying your best, okay? So I'm gonna need to call Miss Peggy in to talk to you. Miss Peggy, can you please come here for a second?
The site facilitator and/or the program director will decide whether or not to give the student a strike. They'll also talk to the parents about the strike and inform the parent about the incident and the consequence. Not to mention, reassure both parent and student that tomorrow is another day, and the actions of today should not affect the actions of tomorrow. The middle schools use a reinforcement system. Our cards are given out when a student shows respect, responsibility, and that they are ready to learn. Every 2 to 3 weeks, students place their art cards in a container, and 20 names are drawn for prizes. If students are having difficulty following the rules, students are issued consequences that fit the violation, given a day off, or the site facilitator will speak to the parents. Repeat offenders are put on a behavior contract.
Hey dude, I saw what you did. That was pretty awesome. Here, there's a royal card. Good job. Keep up the good work, dude.
A strike is issued if student causes major disruption in the program by improper physical interaction with other students, staff, and/or property. Some of the reasons a student would automatically receive a strike is number 1, having dangerous or inappropriate objects in their possession. Number 2, intentionally hurting another student or adult. Number 3, having a defiant behavior or stealing. All these are accounts where a student would get an automatic strike. Now, all parents are informed about the 3-strike policy before they sign the rules of behavior, which is before their child enters the program. No staff members are allowed to talk to students or parents about any of the strikes. The only person allowed to talk about the strikes with the parents is the site facilitator, and that's only with the permission of the program director. If the student reaches all 3 strikes and all the procedures have taken place, then the student will be dismissed from the program. When you begin your day here at Reach for the Stars, you will start off by checking in with your facilitator. You will then pick up all material that you will need for the day, including clipboards, walkie-talkies, books, pencils, copies of your lesson plan, and any other enrichment supplies you will need for the day. Once you have all your materials and supplies, it is time for you to go to your sign-in table and wait for your students to show up. It is important that all students in your group are there every day, and that you use blue or black ink to sign them in. The group or program leader should be the one signing the students in. If any students are missing on any given day, make sure to first check with your site facilitator and let them know within the first 10 minutes of signing in. If your site facilitator has not arrived, make sure to talk to their school day teachers. If the student was at school and did not check in with their group leader, put an A on the attendance sheet for absence. If you know why they were absent, you circle that A. This is called a verified absence. If the absence is not verified, the site facilitator will do what they can to find out why the student is not at the program as soon as they arrive. In the first 15 minutes of the program, students will be signed in and receive their supper meal. So if you see a couple of kids eating over a trash can or walking around, make sure to ask them to sit at their assigned table or area until they are excused. All students are to remain seated, facing forward, speaking in low voices until they are asked to line up. If they have to use the restroom or throw away their trash, they will have to first ask permission to do so. Do not allow students to leave the table or go to the restrooms with food or drinks in their hands. If you are in charge of a pre-kinder or kindergarten class, you'll be asked to pick up the students from their regular school day classrooms and escort them to the sign-in area. Once all your students are signed in and have had their supper, it's your responsibility to make sure the students clean their assigned areas and that there's no trash left around your area. After you have checked that everything is clean, it is time to line up your students and start your day. Now it's the end of the day. All the students are packing up and ready to head home. All group leaders are responsible for their students to be signed out. So, make sure that the students are signed out with the correct time and name of the student by a parent or a guardian. This is a binding agreement. Make sure to have the time, date, and name. While you are waiting for the parents or guardians to pick up the students, keep the students entertained. Have some fun activities for them to play, like board games, puzzles, or games you make up while they wait. This is very important. Make sure to have all the students be signed out by a parent or an adult that is on their emergency contact list, unless you otherwise know who they are. Anyone you don't know, make sure to have them show you proper ID and make sure they are on the emergency contact list. No one under the age of 18 can sign out a student. If someone does pick them up that is not on their emergency contact list, quickly tell your site facilitator to resolve this issue. When you are meeting the parents and/or family members, make sure to treat them with respect and to inform them if there's any homework that still needs to be completed. If any child has not been picked up by 6 p.m., make sure to inform your site facilitator. Now that all the students have been signed out, it is time for you to clean up and put away everything that you used that day. So, as we all know, as fall and winter approaches, those long summer days get shorter and shorter, and it gets dark even earlier. On those days, here are a few things you have to keep in mind. If any student needs to be released early from the program, a parent or guardian must first fill out an early release request form. This form is a request to take out their child before 6 p.m. for one of the following reasons. Number 1, family emergencies. Number 2, medical or dental appointments. Number 3, court appearances. Number 4, illness. Number 5, extreme weather or unsafe conditions. Number 6, attending a parallel program activity. For example, sports, tutoring, religion, fine arts, or another enrichment class. Number 7, students cannot miss more than 3 days a week. The days must be consistent each week. Number 8, early releases cannot be before 4:30 p.m. During the months of October through March, nights get longer and the days get shorter. We all know this as daylight savings time. During these months, we have to take precautions and ensure that no student is out after dark while they are still under your supervision. After dusk, all outdoor activities will be played indoors. The last hour of sports should be completed by 4:45 p.m. And most important, during dark days, all students in kindergarten through 5th grade will be sent to the restroom with an adult or partner and be given a time limit to keep the students safe. Now we gotta have some fun. One of the cool parts of the Reach for the Stars program is that we get to go on the field trips with our students, and you still get paid. Cool. Obviously, it's not all fun and games, so here are some steps to make sure that the field trips are fun, safe, and enjoyable. Number 1, students will wear school color shirts and wristbands or name tags with emergency information. Number 2, group leaders must attend all field trips and must wear their program shirt and badges at all times. Number 3, group leaders must be alert at all times. That means not falling asleep on the bus. Otherwise, this could happen to you. Number 4, if you need assistance and you know someone that has prior experience with children, inform your site facilitator so he or she can verify and approve the chaperone. Number 5, each group leader will carry all of their own students' permission slips and arrange a meeting place before separating in case someone does get lost. Number 6, a 1 to 10 staff to student ratio will be used for all field trips. Number 7, group leaders must have site facilitator's cell phone number in case of an emergency. Number 8, all groups must return to the assigned area at a specific time to ensure all students return back in time. Number 9, if any students are not able to go to a field trip, a staff member must stay behind to supervise until they are picked up at a normal dismissal time. Number 10, non-staff chaperones are not able to supervise the students alone. A Reach for the Stars staff person must stay with them at all times. Reach for the Stars staff must accompany students on all restroom visits. Field trips are fun but sometimes dangerous, and you have to make sure that your students are safe at all times. Your biggest concern is making sure all your bases are covered and you're prepared for whatever happens. By following these guidelines, you'll ensure that your trip is a success and try to have some fun. Homework assistance is only one part of our after-school program, but it's the most important. We are contracted to provide 1 hour of homework assistance Monday through Thursday, and we have to check the students' homework for accuracy and completion. So here are a few tips to run your homework hour efficiently. Number 1, the first 10 minutes of homework is superstar time. This means students work quietly and on their own before being allowed to ask for help. Number 2, do not believe a student who says they do not have homework. Check out their story by asking their classmates, and ask them to show you their homework folder, or even ask their teacher if possible. Number 3, homework time should be silent. No talking among the students while they are working. This distracts the other students. Number 4, group leaders are responsible for actively walking around and monitoring homework. Make sure to walk around to check that the students are on track and doing their homework properly. Even students who do not raise their hands may need help. Number 5, group leaders should check for homework completion and accuracy. Look over the students' homework, make sure they're doing it right. And if they're not, offer your assistance. Number 6, group student by classroom or grade level. This way, the group leader can give a group lesson and students can help one another as long as they are not sharing or copying answers from each other. Number 7, when students finish early, have them read for 20 to 30 minutes and sign their reading logs to show proof they have completed the reading. Number 8, check to verify they did all their homework. Put your initials on the front page of each type of homework if it is complete and accurate. Number 9, any homework not completed in time should be sent home. So now that you know the proper way to run homework hour, here are some more examples of both wrong and right ways.
Thank you. Take out your homework, and if you don't have homework, take out a book. If you do not have
As you can see, the teacher is walking around making sure that all the students are quietly working on their homework. she's helping any students that need help and checking that they are doing their work correctly. If they finish in time, have them pull out a book to read, or have them help out another student that is having difficulties. If any student does not finish their homework during the homework hour, make sure to talk to their parents or guardians and let them know what assignments are still needed to be completed at home.
You can see that the students were greeted as they entered the classroom and asked to take out their homework. This is the proper way to start homework hour.
Alright guys, come on. Alright guys, take out your homework please. And start doing it.
This is the improper way. As you can see, the teacher is not paying attention to the kids. Some are trying to do their homework as others are messing around. This is incorrect. Homework hour needs to be silent for all the students to get the most out of the program.
Yeah, Mia. Yeah.
I need help with my math.
When a student asks for help, don't just dismiss them, as the teacher did. Go on, help the student in whatever he or she needs. But most important, keep them focused on their homework. They'll have time to play when they are at home.
Clearly, she is doing it the wrong way, and she's breaking a couple rules. It's very important that all of you maintain a positive relationship with the regular school day staff. You have to remember, we're using their classrooms and need to respect them by keeping them clean. Here are a few guidelines you should follow.
Number 1, when you arrive, make sure the classroom is unlocked. If it's locked, contact the site facilitator or custodian to unlock it for you. Number 2, when you enter, leave all the student backpacks outside. Make sure to supervise students when they are getting or leaving something in their backpacks. This is a time when things can disappear from other students' backpacks. Number 3, make sure to create and review classroom etiquette and expectations with the students. For example, A, no one is allowed to eat or drink in the class. This invites bugs and causes the desks and carpets to become soiled. B, students should not touch anything inside the desk or around the classroom unless otherwise specified by the regular day teacher. C, always leave the classroom cleaner than when you entered. Make sure to pick up all the trash from the floor and do not leave supplies or materials on top of the desks. If any furniture is moved, make sure to place it back where it was before. D, make sure to secure the room before you leave. At the end of the day, be sure to turn off the air conditioner and lights. Make sure that the room is clean and that the door is locked before you leave for the day. Once this has been done, notify your site facilitator. It's time to walk over to the central sign-out area to finish your day.
When you first enter the classroom, greet the teacher. They might still be there after school has let out. Make sure you talk to them, introduce yourself, and ask about the room. Make sure you sign a classroom agreement form before using the room. And once you enter the room, if there's anything missing or anything wrong, make sure you talk to your site facilitator so that anything missing or out of place isn't blamed on you. Let's face it, kids get hurt. They like to run, jump, and play, and inevitably, they get injured. So what do you do when your students are in these types of situations? As a Reach for the Stars staff member, you're going to face all kinds of accidents and injuries, from minor scrapes to wet pants to fires, earthquakes, lockdowns, and strangers on campus. In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how to handle these situations if and when they happen.
We are going to show you a few different scenarios that could happen when you are out on the playground or inside with the students. Kids will be kids, and we have to be ready for anything. This is an example of a student that has been hurt out on the playground the appropriate steps to take, and the proper people to notify. Here we see the teacher playing a friendly game of field hockey out on the blacktop with the students. They seem to be having a lot of fun. But oh no! What's a teacher supposed to do? First, assess the situation. Is it a minor cut or a big cut? Did they bump their head? Is it swelling? Is the child seriously injured? These are all things you must think about before acting. If it's a minor scrape or bump, just gently clean the area with soap and water. Apply a Band-Aid or ice pack to the affected area. Make sure to only use soap and water for this. If it's a more serious injury, such as the child bumped his or her head, or a large cut or laceration, do not move the child unless they are in an unsafe place. Stop any bleeding, call the site facilitator on your walkie-talkie, or send someone to get them while you stay with the student. Only move the child once they have been checked for injuries. If the site facilitator is sure that the child can be moved, you must make sure to call the parents or guardians to inform them of what has occurred. Once the parents have arrived to pick up their child, the site facilitator will let them know what happened.
Some students may have allergies or other health issues that require medication. Let me make this simple for you. No students are allowed to carry prescribed or even non-prescribed medication on them. In fact, the only person who's allowed to give them medication is the site facilitator. So keep it simple. If a student needs medication, send them to the office. They'll help them out there. What to do in case of a fire? Well, I'm sure we've all done this so many times back in our own school days that it's implanted in our heads how to safely and securely handle the situation. But for those of you that have forgotten how to, here are a few reminders of what to do.
If you hear the fire alarm go off, you must immediately drop what you are doing. Get the kids to line up quickly and safely, and you must walk them over to the safest field area. You as a group leader must make sure to check attendance and also that all your students are present and safe. A staff member will be asked to patrol the campus to make sure that all the students are safe and accounted for. This is called search and secure. Once it's safe to do so, you should walk your students back to your classrooms and continue with your day. Unless it's a serious fire, then all the students, parents, and guardians will be informed to pick up their child as soon as possible. So let's just say you're in your classroom instructing the kids on their assignment when all of a sudden you feel the earth shake underneath you and things start to fall. What are you supposed to do? This is an earthquake and you have to react fast. What's the first thing you have to do? That's right, the old drop, duck, and cover routine. It's still effective and could save anybody from being seriously hurt. When an earthquake hits, all your students must act quickly to stay safe. You will not only know that there is an earthquake by the shaking of the ground, but also by one long bell signal. When the bell is stopped, you must make sure to check the students for any serious injuries or safety hazards that may be obstructing your escape path. Next, you must have all the students quietly and calmly exit the building, walk over to the emergency assembly area, take attendance, and report it to your site facilitator. A staff member or team will perform a search and rescue to determine if all students are safe and accounted for. Stranger on campus. The name says it all. If any staff member sees an unfamiliar adult on campus, make sure to go up to them and ask them if they need help trying to find the right place or person. If you see them acting suspiciously, make sure to contact your site facilitator right away. They will determine whether to call the police or not. No parent is allowed to pick up their child directly from a classroom. The site facilitator will call you on the walkie-talkie to send the students to them. If a stranger poses a threat, make sure to go inside the nearest classroom, lock your doors and windows, call your site facilitator, and they will call 911. If there is a threat on campus, the site facilitator will announce a secret phrase over the walkie-talkies so as not to alert or frighten the students. The code is Mr. Greenleaf is in the building. When you hear this,
you will quickly line up your students and bring them into your classroom. If they are already in the classroom, you will have them stay inside away from the windows. Keep the students calm by playing a quiet game or have them read a book. Do not tell the students you are in lockdown. This will just frighten them, and then you'll have 20 panicking kids. When you hear Mr. Greenleaf has left the building, that means the lockdown has been cleared and everything is safe. You can never be too cautious when it comes to the safety of the students. Stay alert and be aware of what is going on around you at all times. If there is a situation that requires immediate action, it is important that you have your walkie-talkie, attendance, and student applications with you at all times. Young people need the support of positive role models to make a successful transition to adulthood. Programs that incorporate positive youth development strategies help youth acquire the knowledge and skills they will need to become healthy and productive citizens in their communities. By giving them opportunities to feel successful, we increase a student's self-esteem, and we recognize them for their unique contributions. We are all here to show the youth of today how to become the adults of tomorrow.
We do this by giving them the support they need to feel physically and emotionally safe in the classroom, allowing them to make meaningful contributions, to problem solve, and to have a lot of fun. Our staff works incredibly hard so that our students take pride in their actions, and we teach them how to live happy and healthy lives. All life is precious, and all life deserves a chance to succeed. Reach for the Stars, mentors, staff, and role models are positive and teach self-discipline, citizenship, and respect. So, if you have any questions or you just want to talk about it a little bit more, talk to your coworkers. Check out our manual or watch this video again. Either way, I hope to see you around, and remember, reach for the stars.